You might catch yourself aggressively shading a notepad during a meeting, or realize you've been pacing in circles while muttering to yourself like you're being filmed for a documentary. Generally, these are the moments where we snap back to reality and feel a sudden wave of embarrassment. Our standard definition of focus is rigid. You sit perfectly still, eyes locked forward, absorbing data like a hard drive. We're taught that any deviation from this stillness is a sign of a distracted or even failing mind. In reality, those restless glitches are actually background optimizations. When your visual and motor systems are busy with a repetitive task, your working memory stops wandering and snaps into a more organized state. This physical restlessness provides the extra processing power your brain needs to run its background operating system, using your body to keep your mind from tabbing out entirely. What we perceive as a loss of focus is actually the primary neurological defense mechanism the brain uses to prevent its attention from collapsing under the weight of too much information. We can view these habits as a hierarchy of needs, starting with grounding the body. Doodling while you listen occupies your motor and visual systems just enough to keep them from seeking out a more disruptive distraction. By keeping these systems busy with low-stakes shapes, your working memory stays anchored to the person speaking, rather than drifting away into unrelated thoughts. This same logic applies to aimless pacing. Moving without a destination serves as a rhythmic metronome that coordinates your internal thoughts with your external environment. This visualization shows the neurobiological trigger. Rhythmic movement activates the motor cortex, responsible for coordinating every step. Because the motor cortex neighbors the prefrontal cortex, energy pathways bridge out, stimulating your centers for complex planning and logic. This physical activity provides the specific neural current required to initiate high-level problem-solving. Once the body is grounded, the brain moves up to the second tier, organizing the present. This is why you catch yourself using self-directed speech, literally talking your way through a task. Speaking aloud forces your brain to hold on to thoughts longer, essentially using the air around you as an external buffer when your internal working memory becomes overloaded. This level of the hierarchy also explains the late-night urge to solve useless brain teasers or logic puzzles when you should be sleeping. Your brain is chasing a specific chemical reward. This diagram shows the striatum and prefrontal cortex, which provide a hit of dopamine every time you successfully decode a pattern or solve a riddle. This reward cycle strengthens these specific logic pathways, making your brain faster at spotting patterns in the future. You aren't wasting time, you're calibrating your hardware to crave more difficult challenges. If your brain is already hunting for this dopamine, you can give it a more effective training ground through Brilliant. Brilliant's interactive lessons on math, science, and computer science utilize this exact problem-solving loop. Instead of passive watching, they use hands-on challenges to help you build a daily learning habit that feels like a game your brain actually wants to win. This intentional training expands your brain's capacity to process the present. You can start for free and get 20% off a premium annual subscription by using the link in the description or scanning the QR code. The final, highest tier of the hierarchy is simulating the abstract. This occurs when you space out entirely, staring at a wall with your mouth open, completely removed from the room. This isn't a waste of time. It is your brain's dedicated simulation mode. By disconnecting from the senses, the brain can safely rehearse future arguments and model complex scenarios without any real-world risk. In this abstract state, the brain even begins to invent false memories or alternate timelines, replaying a 2019 argument with a better comeback, or imagining conversations that never happened. While it feels surreal, this background world building is the primary indicator of a healthy, creative mind. It's the same mechanism used to develop innovative ideas or start new projects. Total disconnection from the present is the prerequisite for the brain to build solutions for a future that doesn't exist yet. From now on, you should view your doodling, your pacing, and your muttering as the status reports of an optimized machine. The guilt we feel for not sitting perfectly still is based on an outdated understanding of how intelligence works. Forcing yourself into a state of robotic stillness actively suppresses the physical and neurological tools your brain uses to digest difficult information. True intelligence doesn't look like a statue. It looks like a person who is willing to embrace the chaos their brain requires to solve the problem at hand.